This video is brought to you by our friends at TruXcursion.
This truck shell and this truck look really normal. It's a Super Duty, it's an F350, but I promise you, it's a way more than this. And I have Matt here to show us everything behind this TruXcursion. So as I walk up to this, yes, it has a handle here, it's got a window, it's got maybe a little bit of a rack on top, but it looks pretty standard, right?
Yeah, from the outside, that's the goal. So yeah, we call this TruXcursion, and the reason we developed this was I used to fly airplanes in the military, C-130s. And if anybody's familiar with that, that's like the pickup truck of the skies, right? Yeah. We had many different configurations of that all on a palletized system that could come in and out, lock in, and change the mission of that plane in about 5 minutes. And I thought, man, we need this for trucks. So over the past few years, we've been engineering a solution to that so you can change the purpose of your truck pretty quickly without having to compromise the main thing, which is the cargo capacity, the towing.
All right, so this is an 8-foot bed. This is a standard F350 4x4. The shell is pretty standard, right?
Yep, standard fiberglass shell. There's not really anything special about that. But it's the system that attaches the shell to the truck and the other systems inside that really make it different.
And there's a system that helps you load and unload this system, right?
Correct, yeah. So one person can do it in about roughly 5 minutes if you're
So that's your mission statement, right?
That's right, yeah. That's
really interesting. So stay tuned. So let's dig inside, and then after we're done looking at this solution, and can I call it a camper as well?
If that is one of the missions that it can do. That's right. One of the things it'll do.
Multi-mission topper. So we'll show you how easy it is to take it out and put it back in. So let's dig in. Let's go inside.
So I'll show you a little bit of the inside real quick. So it looks standard from the back, nothing really special. We do have these handles, which is helpful.
Okay.
But when you open up, this is an entire chassis that goes all together. The entire fiberglass cap is locked into this aluminum chassis in the bottom. This is welded and riveted all together and has storage compartments all along the side. I'll use this to get up in here.
Gotcha.
We've got storage compartments all in here, accessible, as well as from the top. You can access that down from in here as well. We've got a little bit more storage up here in the front, in this cabinet. And up under here is some of the more of the mechanicals. It has its own power source, so I can turn that on. So when you come into the back, you can say, oh, you know, I need to load whatever in here. It's nighttime. So we have some interior lighting as well. And when you're standing back here and working at the tailgate at night, we have some lights that face back here on the tailgate.
Flood lighting as well.
Yeah, flood lighting as well. And we have a whole bunch of extra blank spots on there so that you can add whatever of these you want. You can add those extra circuits in pretty easily because everybody's going to want to customize.
So do you have a 12-volt battery system
on board as well? There's a 12-volt system right in here.
Okay.
And that runs our jacks and some of the other things. So this can stand alone from the truck, but it can also be powered by the truck as well. And I'll show you that in just a second. And then if you can see, there's structure going all the way from here up and over this crossbar that comes up and under, and also vertically there. The roof rack is more than just a roof rack. It's actually part of the structure. So it sandwiches this fiberglass cap and holds this whole thing together. So that's actually, that roof rack is mounted down into this giant structure right here as well up there.
So the story is you could put a lot of weight up there.
Yeah, more than a normal roof rack will hold because it's locked all the way down into this big chassis.
And then altogether, if you looked at this 8-foot section, 8-foot bed unit, what kind of a weight are we talking about here as far as with nothing in it, right?
With nothing else in it, and we measured this via the onboard scales in the back of the truck, but it's right around 750 pounds.
Okay.
So well within the payload capacity of a F350.
So this is an F350 with what, 4,000 or more pounds of payload. So.
And a good bit of that is just in the fiberglass cap as well. Those usually weigh 250 pounds or more.
Very interesting. So this is my first time looking inside, by the way. So I'm learning about this as the viewer does, and I noticed there's a winch.
There is a winch. I'm actually a fan of having a detachable winch on the front. We have on our other truck that's a little bit more off-roady.
Like a front-mounted hitch?
We have a front-mounted hitch that we can put in a large winch. And so where do you store that? Well, you can put it in here. But also, you can use this to haul cargo into as well. There is 49 inches between here and here.
Yeah.
So you don't sacrifice being able to haul plywood. you can still go haul a load of lumber from the hardware store. And this winch actually is used. We have basically a giant sock that goes, a big fabric, a big canvas sock and strap that goes over the back. So if you do have lumber hanging out the back, we run this winch up through this thing, and it goes down and secures everything and tucks it in nice and tight, so it doesn't,
so
it doesn't run out on the highway.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to lose a 2x4 or a 4x8 piece of plywood on the highway.
So once again, multi-purpose,
Multi-purpose. Yep.
All right.
And we've got so inside this box, this isn't just a little bit of storage. There is actually a full air conditioning and heat system in here. So it runs a 10,000 BTU heat exchanger in there, or sorry, heat pump in there.
Okay.
And that draws right around 1,000 watts. But it'll run hot and cold on electric. And
so
we have
climate controlled.
Climate controlled,
Yeah.
and we have 3 vents here. If we're using this as a camper, you would want climate control back here if possible, depending on the day. But also, like a lot of people, these are nice trucks. You don't necessarily want to put your wet dog inside your cab of your truck. But if you put your dog in the back of the cab during the summertime, you're going to cook them.
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, the opposite. So it's a way to air condition the vehicle in the back so that you can maybe expand the temperature range that you can use it in those purposes.
And also if you had some expensive equipment in here as well, you know, compressor, something else.
Yeah, or even just your groceries.
Yeah.
Right? So in the summertime, it can get pretty hot in here. So turning that on. This one is in an 8-foot configuration.
Okay.
We've also, our prototype was a 6.5 foot as well. And really what that changes is you lose about 16.5 inches in this section right here.
Okay.
So we do have a smaller version that will be coming out later, but it's basically the same, only it's truncated right here by about 16 inches. So this gets a little bit closer to the back.
So that opens up way more trucks, you know, half tons potentially, and all kinds of heavy duty pickup trucks as well.
True, yeah.
How are you attaching this to the bed?
So this attaches to the bed via a fitting that goes on the gooseneck hitch. This particular truck has a 5th wheel gooseneck prep package in it.
Yeah.
So it has this ball that goes in. And the way this one works, instead of having a big hitch ball on the front, you put this in, you lift this little lever, and then the balls come in, it sits down, and then it locks down in that way. But it has a hole running transverse right here where we have a locking pin that's on an electric actuator. So when it's in place, this is sitting there inside of a channel down in there, and a pin comes right through this hole. It locks it down, it makes sure that it keeps it down so that these balls are still locking the whole thing in. And that's really the connection point for the truck. And these generally, you know, gooseneck hitches are rated to generally haul about 30,000 pounds, right? So a lot more than those little clips that hold you to the bed rails or anything else.
Exactly. Plus those little clips that usually you would find outside.
Right.
They're not very sightly. I mean, they look ugly, they're sticking out. Yeah.
And because this thing presses in exactly against the front wall of the truck bed, it's not really going to move around a lot back here. And the reason for this little arrow, the way it's pointed, is because it's pointed in a particular direction. And so this should be pointed forward. And when the thing comes in, there's a channel in there. And the channel, because these can rotate like that in that fitting, right? So this is actually a centering.
So prevent it from
centering thing. So when the channel sits down on it, when it finally gets installed all the way, it makes sure that it's aligned perfectly so the pin can come through and not get all boogered up in there.
A truck like this, the Super Duty, has onboard inverter system as well.
It does.
So like a 2,000 watt system. Ram is coming out with similar systems, and on and on and on. So trucks provide power already.
Right. So we do have Pro Power on board on this system, but there is also an option. We have a large quick disconnect 2-aught wide cable that goes from up in the batteries that can come back to here and be a quick disconnect. And then it runs through a 2,000 watt inverter on board here. We don't have that connection on this truck because we don't need it, because this truck has a Pro Power on board. But this is where we have our inverter in here. This is where we have our brains of our 12-volt lighting system and all the accessories, as well as the switching unit that picks which AC power it wants, whether it's coming from the inverter, from the truck, or another generator, or from like RV power at a campsite or something like that, or an RV hookup.
This thing is full of surprises. I mean, you have a couple more 2-inch receivers here on both sides.
Yeah, so everybody's got 2-inch receiver, different attachments for their truck to use in different ways. And we figured you need a place to store those because nobody wants them just rattling around in the back of the truck. So we put those up high, kind of out of the way. And for those ones especially that you don't use that often, but you need to bring with you.
Okay, and you said you have some shades here.
We do.
As well?
We have shades for this as well. Let's see, which one did I grab? So we have window shades for these. They will Velcro up on the windows. This one looks like one for the side window.
Okay.
They're reflective on one side and they're black on the other. So like, let's say it's the summertime, you're probably gonna put the reflective one on the other. But if it's the wintertime and you want a little bit more light on the inside and maybe to absorb some of that heat, you put the black towards the outside. If you are using this as a camper, you're changing in here with the lights on and everybody else can see. And also, if the sun comes up or goes down late, you don't want to have to wake up necessarily when the sun comes up at 5 a.m. You want to be able to sleep in. So it's important to be able to block out the sun sometimes, keep some of the heat out, and you know, be a little discreet as well.
Oh, nice. But wait a minute, we're not done yet because you also have some other accessories.
Yeah, we do. So this is a ramp, but it also doubles as an elevated platform that goes on the side. So the way that you put this in is you put this lip on the front. You install that right there.
Okay.
We have this.
It has a leg.
Leg right here. This leg has a little cam that fits out. That fits in this hole. We turn it this way. And it sits right there.
Oh, nice.
And then we've got another pin. So this is very heavy duty. You can put a lot of weight up there if you want. We do have a hook on here because when we put another couple of mattresses in here, we can hang that from up here and then you can remove the leg.
All right, so these mattress pads, there's 3 of them here.
Uh-huh.
Each one of them have 3 sections and they come with...
Yep. So you can see this is outfit. This would sleep 3 people pretty easily right here. This is a little over 6-foot section on the floor. And then on the top, because we have the, this is a little bit shorter of a platform. You can have a platform come all the way to the end, but if you want to sleep people underneath, you don't want them completely covered. You want to have their head stick out a little bit. So, and then if we're in a short bed model, this really, you probably only want to sleep one up top that's a full-size adult, 6+ feet.
Yeah.
You might be able to fit a couple kids on the floor because in the short bed model, you got about 18 inches less there.
Exactly. But it's nice that this shelf kind of continues forward.
Yep.
So you can use some of that space
Yep,
as
you use
well.
some of that space in bear country. Like we developed this when we lived in Alaska in Kodiak.
Yeah.
Lots of bears there, right? So while we did camp in tents, you didn't sleep very well. Every noise you heard, you kind of started to rustle, like, is that a bear? I hope not.
Yeah.
And so this is, you know, all hard-sided, so you feel a little safer. So this shows us with the second platform installed. So the entire thing is raised up, and then there is a space back here so that you can get access down underneath. So like, let's say you were just sleeping 2 people in here, you could both sleep on the top and then keep all your stuff up underneath if you wanted. A little bit of storage for shoes and all that stuff, all your bags underneath.
And I like it how you have little pins here, so things don't rattle or move around too much, right?
Yep, that keeps it in place and keeps it strong.
Here and here as well. This TruXcursion keeps on surprising me. Now Matt has hooked up a winch line here to the ceiling, and now we're gonna lift something heavy into the bed of this truck. So you have a giant generator, mobile generator here, but it's also pretty heavy.
Yeah, so this probably weighs a few hundred pounds. Definitely enough that you don't want to have to pick it up to bed height, even with the help of a buddy. That's something that, you know, that makes my back hurt even thinking about that. And so when we can use a machine instead of our back, that's a good trade-off. So I've got my my winch hooked up here, and basically it's just going to pull it up. These are the platforms that we had. They double as ramps so that you can pull stuff up in the back of the truck.
There you go. It's on the tailgate.
Yeah, so no back pain.
No.
Nobody got injured.
No.
Wife doesn't get mad at you for asking her to carry something that she's too not quite strong enough to pick up. It's a win. So the roof rack on this is it's part just for roof rack, but it's also structure. So that's why it has this vertical piece right here, giving it a lot of structure and strength to this entire chassis system. These are relocatable anywhere along this rail. These are all evenly spaced holes. These holes, one of the problems with roof racks though is they will give you the bars, but often not a great place to tie down to. So these things double as hooks for your tie down straps. So when you put a kayak up here or whatever, you've got good tie down places as well.
Now I think everybody's been waiting for this, right?
Yeah.
We want to show removal of the TruXcursion out of the truck. How does it work?
Sure. So the way this works is we have a jack system on here. There's 4 jacks. They're controlled by here on this panel, as well as I have a remote control that you can walk around and control those to level it. And then we have the other part of the panel here, and this controls our hitch pin lock. And that's that pin that goes in the side into that hitch that we insert into the gooseneck fitting. And then a linear actuator that pushes this up and out on its rails. This thing actually settles down into a little pocket on each of its wheel rails so that it comes down and floats right on top of the bed rails, as opposed to sitting above it, because you want a nice little seal there. As you see this is our hitch pin. You can see it's in the locked position right here with the green light. And with that green light, that means that you're good to go. So whenever the ignition is on, that green light is going to be on. And if the ignition is on and this is installed, plugged in, but the pin is not in place, it's going to turn on the dome lights. And then you'd be like, oh, shoot, I haven't locked this thing in, and I need to go back there and do that before.
Okay.
So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to enable that circuit, and then I'm going to retract it. It's now in the intermediate range. When it gets to unlocked entirely, that beep will turn off, and now we're okay to start extracting it. So the next step is going to be, I'm going to go in, I'm going to remove all of my plugs that are plugged into the bed of the truck. This next circuit won't work unless my doors are shut. There's a proximity switch on those doors, and that way you don't forget that those wires that you can't see are hooked in there are hooked in, and then you extract the thing and you rip all your wires out.
Okay.
There we go. That light will turn on.
I see it.
And that means that my extraction mode is engaged. Okay, this will move a linear actuator. It's going to push against the front of the truck. You're going to see this thing pop up ever so slightly and start to slide back. So now we're going to keep pulling it back. Now it's up and on the rails, and we can pull this back. I'm going to open these little doors so that I can see my jacks and what position they're in. I'm going to raise these jacks ever so slightly. And this is so we can get over that little hump of the area between the tailgate and the bed of the truck. So we have some rollers that are placed just forward of these jacks right here, and that's what it's normally rolling on. And then we use the jacks to just kind of cross that thing. Across that little gap between the bed, and we keep pulling back.
And it takes almost no effort.
Almost no effort. I do have a strap up in the front. We'll go take a look at that up here. So I've got a strap attached right here so that you don't lose control of this and it falls out too far and then comes out the bed. So we're going to keep pulling this aft to right there. I'm going to come back on those little rollers. And we're going to keep pulling it back until this strap right here catches. Okay, this strap is now caught, and now I can pull down my jacks from the bottom. We have these little roller wheels right here that roll it inside the truck bed. I'm going to pop that out. I'm going to pull this out, extend this wheel out the bottom, and then I'm going to put this in. And it's going to start taking the load. So I'm going to disconnect that, and then I'm going to pull back on this, and we're going to extract this out the remainder of the way.
Oh, I see. And there's extra rollers in the front.
Yep. And now those rollers in the front, which are the ones that sit on the tracks, those are sitting on the load here. And then these are what we've been rolling on when I extend the jacks. These are normally sucked up in there and we're just rolling on those rollers, or it's sitting on this flat surface here. So now we can do the same thing that we did in the back. We'll drop these jacks out right here and then put the front wheel on, and then we can take this thing entirely off. Now we're totally clear of the truck. Comes out the way. And you can push this thing around in your shop now. You can move it to a different spot in your driveway, do whatever you need to do. And then installing is just the reverse of extraction.
Or you could leave it.
It can exist on its own. That's right.
By itself,
yeah.
right?
So if you, let's say you're in, let's say you're out and you want to go camping, but you want to still be able to use your truck to go off-road, and you don't want to lug this thing around, you don't want the extra height, you don't want the extra weight, you can find a spot, you can pull this out, and then you can have it be by itself. You wouldn't want it this high, you can bring this down to about knee height, and then you can store like all your dirty shoes and coolers and stuff underneath if you want, and it can exist by itself or in the back of the truck, either way.
Right, Matt, 2 more questions. First of all, how much does it cost? And also, when is it going to be available? And when can people reserve it?
Sure. So starting price is going to be in the low 40s.
And people can go to your website and start reserving, right?
Yep. So come to our website. We're going to be releasing this for pre-orders, and those will be hopefully starting to come out in about the end of year 2025, near Christmas 2025.
Nice. Thanks a lot, dude. Nice
Thanks,
to meet
Andre.
you.
It's been nice to meet you, too.